Namaste, guys. Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consulting, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Wednesday evening here in Denver, Colorado. We're jumping on for our daily dose of divine light, love, and power with our focus on the power aspect. Dun, 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 the power aspect. And this is, it's kind of like what we wrote about in the newsletter this evening. For those of you who are watching this live on Facebook, right below this video is the weekly newsletter of a quote of my teacher, Grandmaster Cho Koksui, with a story connected to the quote and how we can apply that quote into our day-to-day life to improve the quality of our life. Karen, namaste. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I was thinking about the power aspect, and I said, what is a great reminder for each and every one of us that are on the path? Because what do we talk about? The power aspect of the soul is the ability to move, the ability to take action, the ability to go from one thing to another thing. Without power, nothing happens, right? So light tells you where to go. Love keeps everything together as it's moving, but if there's no power, nothing moves. Does it make sense? So all three qualities are important, but especially on this physical plane called life, being a being of power is extremely important. The people that fortunately or unfortunately rule this world are those people who have become masterful at the quality of power. In business, in spirituality. Adriana, namaste. You get a high five. Adriana no longer sleeps, everybody. She basically is up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, making sure she gets her daily dose. So this goes back to the affirmation by Grandmaster Cho Koksui. Jeanette, namaste. I haven't seen you on a live for a while. Good to have you. And the I am the soul affirmation is a pathway to spiritual growth, development, and illumination in becoming one with the higher self. So the mere act of me moving my hand is a function of physical will, right? The mere act of me having a feeling of sadness and then having a feeling of joy is a function of emotional will. Me having the thought of a green apple and me having the thought of a mango is a function of mental will. And then me sitting down and doing my spiritual practice of being an instrument of goodwill and the will to do good is a function of spiritual will. So the reason we become disempowered in our lives, meaning we feel we have less power or we lack willpower, is because we identify with what we are not versus identifying with what we are. So if we have physical pain, we go, well, I'm that physical pain and I can't do anything about it. But that's not true. You can do something about the physical pain, right? If you have emotional pain, you can do something about it. Instead of being overwhelmed by your emotional pain, fear, sadness, anger, what else? Jealousy, cynicism, right? We can transform those energies from the lower energy, the lower vibration, into the higher energy or higher vibration. So we can literally will ourselves into our emotion, into better emotions. But because when we identify with I am that, sadness, despair, hopelessness, what have you, it weakens our connection to our higher soul and we forget the power aspect of the soul. That, wait a minute, if I'm a being of power or will, I can will myself out of this situation from despair into hope, from doubt into faith, from darkness into light, right? So it's a function of will. Jillian, namaste. Then mentally, you're thinking of something and thinking of something and thinking of something. You're maybe OCD or obsessive compulsive about a particular thought, and you keep spinning that thought over and over and over and over and over and over again in your head. If you are identifying with that thought that I am that thought, I am that addiction, I am that sadness, Amanda, namaste, I am X, Y, and Z. If we identify with the thought, we weaken our connection to our higher self, which is what? Light, love, and power. So it's very, very important to remember that we are light, love, and power, and we can choose. Yvonne, namaste. Thanks for all the comments and the love on social media. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So as we keep remembering, wait a minute, I'm a being of will. I can will my thoughts. I can will my emotions. Benny wants to come in. I can will my physical body to do something or not do something, right? So if somebody loses their ability, Yana, namaste, I haven't seen you on a live in a while either. If we lose our ability to move our physical body, that is a lack of the will aspect on the physical body, right? So if somebody has Parkinson's, if somebody has a traumatic accident where they lose the use of their limbs, their arms and their legs, right? That's a lack of the will aspect within them. There's a blockage. But if the person is willful enough, they literally can take control over their body again and restore it to youthfulness, restore it to health. Now, am I saying that this is easy to do? No. This is a practice that you have to practice consistently and persistently over the lifetime of your body, right? But as we talked about before, one of the best ways to develop your will is through physical exercise, moving your body, right? Because like our lower tendency is to be lazy. We want to expend the least amount of energy to get the most amount of resources in return. So it's built into our lower nature to conserve, conserve, conserve. That's why you have to access the will aspect of the soul and go, I'm going to stay up and work. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go meet up with a friend and have a good time. I'm going to, right? It's the act of will. Everything is an act of will. The act of you sitting and doing nothing is also an act of will, because you're willing yourself to relax. There's certain people that I've had clients in the past that they cannot sit down for more than 10 minutes without getting up, cleaning their apartment, starting a home remodeling project. Carmen, I'm gonna say doing something, right? So the will aspect is overactivated within them. And here's an interesting side note to that. It's other energies outside of their soul that is forcing them to act. So they've actually become a prisoner to an energy within their system. But again, they're being willful, they're taking action, right? But they're unable to control it. So again, they're not, George, I'm going to stay, they're not practicing the will aspect within them. Does that make sense? So it's like an addiction. So somebody has an addiction to drinking, to drugs, to sex, to shopping, to gambling, to whatever. They're doing, but it's not really them doing. It's an energy within them doing. So they've, for another way of saying it, abdicated their will to something else so they don't have to do it. So that's why the spiritual path is very, very important, because it requires you to have awareness, it requires you to have understanding, it requires you to have humility, and it requires you to have willpower to make it happen, right? So it's easy to be like, that's just who I am, right? I'm naturally an industrious person. I can't do anything about it. Or I'm naturally a lazy person. I can't do anything about it. That's you abdicating your willpower to something and someone else, right? Not a good thing to do. Avani, namaste. So that's my message to you guys tonight, is recognizing that through the I Am the Soul affirmation by Grandmaster Cho Koksui, it's recognizing that you control your physical body, you control your emotions, you can control your thoughts, and you can control your spiritual growth and development. Not for the purpose of ego, or as one of my mentors would say, catnip for the astral body, but you gain power so you can be a greater instrument of goodwill and the will to do good. But if you can't even will yourself to get out of bed in the morning, how can you will yourself to create great change in the world? Makes sense? Benny's all worked up. So I'm about to have I'm about to have dinner with a friend. Relax. And her dog's getting all jacked up.
Just because there's someone talking outside.
Benny. So does that make sense? Is that clear to you guys? The will aspect of the soul, super, super, super important. And again, like we said in the early part of the stream, people who have developed the will aspect within their lives to a high degree, those are the people that guide humanity right now. For better or for worse. For better or for worse, those are the people that guide humanity. They have mastered constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness in something. Whether it's business, whether it's the arts, whether it's politics, whether it's spirituality, whatever it is, in order for you to be successful, you need to push. You need to have will. You need to act. It's the ability to act, right? And one of the great, great spiritual teachers, Vivekananda, who actually brought yoga to the United States in the late 1800s, even before Yogananda, he was a great, great teacher of will, super powerful will from here, the Ajna chakra, and actually from the crown too. Spiritual will, mental will. So will is a fascinating topic, and I wish more. The interesting thing about will, as a side note to this, and we kind of covered it a little bit in the newsletter, that you cannot intellectualize yourself to becoming more willful. You have to act. You have to be able to produce a result. You have to be willfully persistent, right? So it's like you have a goal, you have a target, right? Something that you want to accomplish. You have to push and push and push and push. You have to be willfully persistent to make it happen. So if you want to be successful in something, you can't just pick up a book, read it, and then now you're successful in that topic. You have to take the information and then will the information into the mental, emotional, and physical planes, right? It's kind of like, what would be an example? So one of the things that I always wanted to do was to be a meditation teacher. As soon as I learned what meditation was and had my very first meditation, I said, I don't know, some way, somehow, I'm going to figure out how to be a meditation teacher. So I could have read 20 books on meditation, which I have, but I could have read just 20 books on meditation and I still wouldn't have been a meditation teacher. So what did I do? I acquired as much information as I could, as quickly as I could, and then I immediately went out into the marketplace and started organizing meditation groups, meetup groups, meetup events, things like that, right in the first couple months of me learning meditation, because I wanted to will it into existence. I wanted to will myself to be that thing that I wanted to be. Or I could have stayed in the mental world, learned a bunch of meditation stuff, and in my mind, I was a meditation teacher. And one of the masters in pranic healing said something very funny that it's very true when you think about it. He says, I can see him saying this from stage. He says, you are not a teacher if you don't have any students, right? You're not a teacher if you don't have any students. So I thought about that. I go, well, I want to be a teacher because I'm inspired to be a teacher. So that must mean I have to go out and I have to get students, right? I have to have people hire me. I have to have people ask me questions. I have to have people follow the advice that I give them, get feedback from that advice, train them to become better and better and better at what they do, which is meditation. And then ta-da, I'm a meditation teacher. But if I stayed here in the mental plane and I never used will, I would have never made my dream a reality, because my dream for many, many, many years was to be a full-time meditation teacher and then energy healer. Initially, I just wanted to be a meditator. I just wanted to sit with my eyes closed, bliss out, leave my body, and all that in a bag of chips, right? I'm a namaste, Elizabeth. You get a high five. Bam. So that would be a function of spiritual will, right? I'm going to meditate. But if I wanted to be an instrument of goodwill and the will to do good, I had to take my meditation energies, my meditation knowledge, my meditation experiences, and put it into the world. So we do this through the streams. We do this through our group meditations every day. We do it through one-on-one healing sessions. We do it through group healing sessions, right? So that's a function of materializing it into the physical world. Again, going back to will. Will is super, super important. It doesn't matter if you want to be a meditation teacher or not, an energy healer or not. Whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your life, you need to have will. Will. Super important. No will, nothing happens. So if you need help with your will, feel free to hire me, which requires you to what? Practice the will, to go to the website, ChristianRLong.com, sign up for a consultation, show up for the consultation, get the healing, and then follow through on the homework assignment. See? Will throughout the whole process in order to make something happen, in order to make transformation happen in your life. No willpower, nothing happens. Make sense? So I hope that helps, guys. Thank you very, very much for sharing your time and energy with the group. I hope you got value out of this. If you did, feel free to share it on your personal or professional Facebook pages, LinkedIn, social media, on Instagram or Snapchat. Christian, how would I put this on Snapchat? I don't know. You probably can't put it on Snapchat because I don't use Snapchat. But love you guys very, very much. Adriana, #1 super fan. She's super jacked up because she's a being of will. Elizabeth says, you always inspire me. Oh, you're making me blush, Elizabeth. This isn't a sunburn. This is me blushing right now. You're adorable. Okay? So I love you guys very, very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Catch us tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. for the daily Twin Hearts meditation to bless and heal Mother Earth. Invite people. This is a reminder to you beautiful souls out there. Invite other people. Let's have a big, juicy group. Last week we had 30 people. No, a week and a half ago we had 30 people on doing the Twin Hearts meditation together. Most of them strangers. And that was a beautiful experience. And the energy was super strong. So again, invite people. I have the links all over my Facebook posting. Invite people, invite people, invite people. Bring more people into the fray, and then we can all have a greater experience. And we're moving closer towards the Wesak Festival. I agree, you are truly a blessing. Oh, Yvonne, stop. You're making me blush. Again, this cheek is blushing. So the Wesak Festival, make a note for those of you who have not been part of the group every day. The Wesak Festival is May 7th. May 7th. It's on a Thursday, right?
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning, okay. So it's from Thursday morning from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Mountain Time. 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Mountain Time. The reason it's at that time is we meditate at the very, very tippity-toppity peak of the full moon of Taurus, right? The full moon of Taurus, which is the most powerful day of the entire year to meditate in a group. Meditating at the peak of the full moon of Wesak is equivalent to meditating every day for an entire month, meaning the amount of energy that's generated. So a couple reminders. One, do lots of physical exercise before the Wesak, lots of physical exercise after the Wesak. Make sure you have your Kriya Shaktis or wishes written down on a piece of paper, specifically written down, not in your head. Get a pen, get a piece of paper, write them out, whatever. Relationship goals, money goals, career goals, spiritual goals, virtue goals. Like, I want to become a more virtuous person. I want to be more loving and kind, whatever it is, right? Have your goals and projects written out. And then you have to wear all white. Go to the store. The sooner you do this, the better. You have 9 days. Get a white shirt, white pants, right? And that's pretty much it. That's all you need for the Wesak. So write out your goals, do physical exercise, lots of physical exercise before and after. Wear all white for the 3 hours from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Mountain Time. And it will be one of the most powerful spiritual experiences of your life. Patty, namaste. Good to have you on as always. Does that make sense? One of the most powerful spiritual experiences of your life. I've been honored to do the Wesak Festival every single year for, actually this might be my 16th year. So I did the first Wesak. I learned pranic healing 2004 in March. Yeah, so I've done the Wesak Festival. This coming year will be 16 years. I've done it every single year. I remember even doing the Wesak Festival by myself in a hotel room in Las Vegas. It was like 3 or 3:30 in the morning. I was tuning in on the phone with one of the masters because I was in Las Vegas for a business conference connected to real estate. And I'm like listening and I'm like doing the technique and I'm just falling asleep as I'm listening because I was up for 36 hours prior to that. I go, okay, I got this. This is the Wesak Festival. This is what I've committed my life to. Come on, stay focused, stay. And I was able to listen through most all of it. And then I passed out maybe 5 or 10 minutes after the meditation was over. which is actually very interesting because the Wesak energy comes down in an 8-minute block. So within an 8-minute chunk of time, you receive as much energy as you would meditating every single day for a month. Think about the return on time you get for that. It's quite amazing. Samantha, namaste. So, love you guys. I wanted to just remind you, and I'm going to keep reminding you on Facebook about Wesak. Invite as many people as you can, whether they're pranic healers or not, whether they're Hatha yogis or not, whether they are of a certain faith or not. It will benefit everybody, rain, sleet, or shine, no matter what their religious beliefs are, spiritual beliefs are, whether they're atheist, agnostic, it doesn't matter. It simply is, can you follow simple instructions? And by the way, you're going, well, wait a minute. If the meditation is 8 minutes long, why is it a 3-hour event? Because in that 3 hours, we cover the 4 noble truths of Buddhism and the 8-fold path of Buddhism to alleviate your suffering. But you don't have to be Buddhist to benefit from that lecture. So we do preparatory healing work, then we do the 2 talks, then we prep for the meditation, do the meditation, bliss out of our minds. And it's okay. You'll have plenty of stillness and silence after the meditation to just sit and absorb the energy. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a weird time this year, but it's a weird time every single year because it's at a specific point to the minute. And that's it. So love you guys very, very much yet again, and I will talk to you soon. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, namaste. Bye-bye.